Welcome to the DNA show.
DNA? Dude, are we doing a science show?
No, D is for Dennis.
Oh, A is for Andy.
And N is for and?
No, man, nerds. Because we're nerds, dude.
Yeah. Oh, good. Then we can talk about comics and movies and pop culture and sports.
Sports and nerds. Yeah, we're going to make that work.
All right, let's roll.
Heidi-ho, welcome back to the Dennis and Andy show. I tell you, I'm Andy, I'm with my buddy.
This is Dennis.
I love saying Heidi-ho, the Dennis and Andy show, because that rolls off the tongue.
It does.
It just, we're sporting our classic Dennis and Andy t-shirts that we had made. If you subscribe to the podcast, you'll see the artwork that I did for the shirts, and I'm almost kicking myself that it doesn't say Heidi-ho, welcome to, and then Dennis and Andy on the shirt like it does.
I feel like a 2.0 needs to come at some point.
I think a 2.0 might need to. Anyhow, I have a little personal story about it. Well, what's the title? I like the title of these stories. Andy buys a drone.
A drone. All right, let's go with that.
A drone. So my daughter and I love yard sales. I don't know where you fall in the yard sale thing. You know.
Oh, love yard sales, flea markets.
Yep. So generally summertime, you know, where we live in North Carolina, every Saturday you can find a yard sale. Yep. So a few weeks ago, there was a sign for a community yard sale in our neighborhood. So Courtney got excited. I got excited for that weekend. Helen even went with us.
Wow, family trip.
Whole family in the morning. She's not a yard sale. Now, it's supposed to start at 9 to 1.
Yep.
You know, if you know anything about yard sales, if you ever had a yard sale, it doesn't matter what time you put on that sign. People are showing up at 7 a.m.
Or 6.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
We posted a few, and yeah, man, we're setting up at like 6:30 and people are driving up. We're like, what the hell?
Yep.
So we didn't set up because we just wanted to drive around the neighborhood. So we get in the car and like our neighbors are out. They've got stuff set up, but they're literally our next door neighbors. And one, it kind of felt weird to stop at their house.
So you didn't have to walk far.
We didn't even stop because they basically had furniture, like big furniture stuff from inside the house. They had a patio set, which they sold like that, and now they have a new patio set. So they were selling furniture.
They were upgrading.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, we got back from the yard sale. We left at like 8:30. We weren't out long. For a community yard sale, I will say it sucked. Because when I hear community, I'm thinking 10 or more houses. Yeah. At least. I think there were like 5.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got a good-sized community, so.
We got a big, 5 was a letdown. So we left at 8:30. We were back probably by 10:15. Our neighbors were already done. Like, you couldn't even tell they had one. Everything was sold.
Wow.
Cars were back in the driveway. They sold it all. It was all big furniture stuff. So we pull up to this one lady's house, and nice old lady, 60s, early 60s, mid 60s, something like that. And she had some tech stuff, which I was kind of surprised because you don't see stuff. Usually a senior citizen type like that, pillows, clothing, whatever.
Right.
And she had some tech stuff, and she had a drone, a micro drone. So a micro drone is, I think, footprint-wise, this thing's probably, I'd say, 5-inch square.
So is this one that like we got some for Christmas? Is that where you just throw up in the air, or
no,
do these have actual
it starts
controls?
On the ground. Oh no, it has controls.
Okay.
So, and I don't know anything about drones. I've never owned one.
Okay. And
it says $20, and it's literally brand new in the box, never been used. So I'm guessing she bought it for a grandkid or something. Yeah. Who knows? So I said, just take 15, and she's like, no, I'm going to stick at 20. It's brand new in the box. And Courtney was like, I don't care, I'll pay 20. And I'm like, all right, fine. So we get it.
Yep.
Cut to the afternoon, and we go home, I unbox it. Has one small battery. I'm like, all right, it has to charge. It says in the instructions. I'm an instruction guy too, by the way.
Yeah.
You got those.
So it actually came with the manual.
Okay, with it, dude, brand new in the box. Box wasn't even open.
But even a lot of the new stuff, they don't come. They either come with the CD, or you go to their website and read and download the PDF. Yeah. So that's cool.
Full manual.
Yep.
Like I said, the drone itself, it's a 5-inch square. It even has a little HD camera. on it
Ooh.
to take pictures and stuff. The remote control has the two toggle sticks, I guess you call it, for your thumbs on each side. So while the battery's charging, it said give it an hour. I'm reading the manual. And there's 2 modes. There's mode 2 and mode 4. There's no 1 or 3, so I guess they just don't like odd numbers.
They like evens.
Yeah, apparently they like even numbers. But the thing is, mode 4 in the instructions literally say not to do mode 4 unless you're really familiar with how a helicopter works and flies.
Oh, so it's all about the controlling of it.
Yeah, because mode 4, out of the 2 toggles, you only use 1. So it's literally like the joystick of a helicopter, where the 1 joystick does everything.
Okay.
Whereas mode 2 is the easier mode.
Right.
So basically the left-hand side is up and down.
Yep.
Forward and back, up and down.
And then the other one is...
And then left and right.
Right.
Whereas the other one is to turn it.
Okay.
Basically. So envision with the left-hand one, you push it forward, it takes off. So it's up in the air. If you just use the left, if you hit it to the left, it goes left. Hit it to the right, it goes right. Pull it back, comes backwards. But if you want to turn, that's the right-hand one. So you rotate it so it turns, makes turns right, left, whatever. If you're a helicopter guy, you do that all at the left.
Right.
Which I was like, I'm not even touching that.
Well, helicopter guys got 1 stick and 2 pedals.
That's right.
So do they have 2 pedals on this?
There's no pedals.
Oh, okay, so it's just 1 stick.
Right. But the thing is, the forward and back is also, okay, hold on. Oh, no, I'm sorry, take it back. The left-hand one is for forward is up, back is down, left makes it go faster, right makes it go slower. The right-hand one is totally left-right turning it.
Right, okay.
So we get it charged up. This is still Saturday, day we got it. And I'm like, Courtney, let me try it first because if I don't know what I'm doing, you definitely won't. And I've at least used remote control cars and things like that. Just nothing ever in the air. So I'm like, well, let's go over. We need a big area because we tried it in our front yard and we're not overly populated with trees, but there was enough to just doing it that little bit in the front yard. I was like, all right, forget it. I don't want to get it stuck in a tree.
Yeah.
So I said, let's go to the school that's right by us because there's a big field.
Sure.
No tree.
Best place.
Best place. So we hoof it to the school, drive over to it, I should say, walk onto the field, and, playing around with it and stuff, and it's very sensitive.
Okay.
Like, this thing is very sensitive. I mean, you press the up, and that thing's like, way up.
Okay.
And then, even the right and left is really sensitive and stuff. And you just do it a little bit, and it's like, turn.
But it's also really small.
And it's only like, what is?
The remote control?
No, the remote's big. The remote's bigger than the drone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, the remote is at least, the drone, like I said, is like a 5 foot square. The remote is probably 6 inches wide by 4 to 5 inches deep and a couple inches tall.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's like a video game controller.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's really like a video game controller. So, I bring it down in the field, because basically when I realize I don't know what's going on and I don't want to lose it, I just jack it down. I don't care where it comes down. I just pull it back so it just comes right straight down.
Yeah.
Well, Courtney doesn't like being in the field because there's bees, which when I say bees, I mean there's like one maybe flying around on the ground, not near her, but there's just bugs in general. And,
right.
even though she's 17, she's kind of a wuss.
No murder hornets, though.
No murder hornets.
Okay.
That's funny, though. They're gone. Have you noticed that there's COVID apparently took out murder hornets?
I think so. My nephew asked about it on the trip, and they're like, nope, I haven't seen any murder hornets. We're good.
So we walked over to the parking lot of the school, which is a wide open parking lot.
Yep.
And try it there. And, once again, this thing is so touchy. I get it up off the ground. It's not like trying to get it just to go up, say, like 2 or 3 feet to where you're like, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And then I can make it go forward and backwards. No, man, you hit that forward stick just the slightest, and it's just like, next thing you know, it's 15, 20 feet in the air.
Okay.
Well, it goes up, And I'm like, oh shit, it's kind of close to the school, and I start to panic, and it goes over the roof.
Of course.
And I never see it again.
Oh, no way.
It is now on the roof of the middle school.
Oh.
And I'm trying everything. I'm like, all right, we're walking around the school. And I told Courtney, because, my daughter, she has Asperger's, so she gets worked up really easy. So I even told her before we started, I said, if it were to break, if it were to get stuck somewhere, do not melt down. Stay cool. I will buy you another one out of my own pocket because she paid for this.
Right.
So I said, I will buy you another one, which will definitely cost me more than $20, I'm sure.
Right.
So it goes up on the roof. And I have OCD. I'm obsessive about stuff. I'm like a dog with a bone. We're walking around the perimeter of the school. I'm using a remote, trying to press it up. So I'm thinking maybe it'll go high up, and then I can pull it over and get it down. No.
Nothing.
The school's 2 stories high, so there's no way I can ever see it.
Right.
So I'm just like, let's just go back home. I'll look online. I'll get us another one.
Yeah.
So we go home. My wife's like, how was it? And she's like, Daddy put it on the roof of the school. And my wife's like, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Just leave me alone.
Wow, she threw you under the bus
Very frustrated right now. So I start looking on Amazon. Well, first I go to the company's website because I've got the box. Talk about throwing, what's that saying, throwing salt in a wound?
Yeah. So how much?
Well, you can't buy this, but this was a 2019 model.
Oh, okay.
So you have to order the 2020, which isn't out yet.
Yeah.
And you can't order a 2019 from the website anymore.
Okay, so you got to get the new one.
But I do know how much a 2019 costs brand new.
Which is?
$75.
Oh, so you got a heck of a deal.
Now I feel even worse, dude. My daughter got a drone for $20 that retails for $70. I don't know anything about drones. I'm looking at a $20 drone. That's why I told the woman house 15.
Yeah.
And now I know why she laughed at me.
Yeah.
So now I feel like total shit. So I'm like, oh my God, my daughter never even got a chance to do it herself.
And you got to buy her one now to do it.
And I land this thing on a roof. I feel like it's such an a-hole that I went to the garage.
Yeah.
We bought a few weeks ago one of those cool collapsible ladders that doesn't take up much space but goes really high.
Yeah.
And I said, come on home, we're going back to the school. There's a place in the back of the school when we were walking around it that's only, there's the entrance, a back entrance. And above the entrance is a landing. And you walk on that landing, you can see a ladder that takes you to the next level.
So you got a little giant ladder and you took it over.
So I'm thinking, let's go.
Yep.
So I was like, all right, fine. So we go back there. The ladder won't reach.
Oh.
It's higher. Like the ladder itself is only about 14.
Yeah.
This is probably 17.
Okay.
The ladder won't reach. So I'm like, damn it. So I go back, I get on Amazon, I'm looking at drones, and I'm like, yeah, there are drones. Full disclosure, yes, you could buy a brand new drone for $20 off Amazon. Now that I know what this thing costs, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as a dad, would you be able to cheap out, or would you go, no, I've got to replace it with one around the same cost?
Yeah.
As it was brand new.
You kind of would almost have to.
So I go to the category of 60 on up, and there's one for $70. It's got a camera. It comes with 2 batteries, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Here's the funny thing: the drone, the battery.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this doesn't apply to all of them, but for the 2 drones, because now I own 2, and I'll tell you why. The batteries only last 10 minutes.
Okay, that was actually going to be my question: was how long did you get to let the battery?
The battery really, they last 8 to 10 minutes.
So it all depends on the drone. So I owned, of course, one that was the Starship Enterprise.
No way.
Oh yeah,
it looked like the Starship Enterprise.
Yes. So the entire saucer section was on there, and I thought it was awesome. It looked cool, Target carried them. I mean, all your retailers did.
How'd it fly?
Not bad. I mean, considering when you think the fact that the front was the fan basically that lifted it, it was pretty cool, and it was like the Enterprise A, and it went cool. The problem is, as I found out really quickly, is that they were up to a 7-minute battery life.
Oh yeah,
that's just way too boring for me. I mean, 7 minutes, and you have to charge it. They weren't replacement batteries, So I'm like, oh. And then, of course, it crashed, and that was the end of that, and I've never worried about it since. And then they came out with the Millennium Falcon, same company, version of it. I'm like, no, I need something more than 7 minutes.
So you still have it for display at least, or is it broke?
Oh, no, it's broke.
Oh.
Yeah, it broke. And then, so you have to go to really good drones. So when we were on the beach on the trip here, somebody had a drone. And that same drone went way up, way out, had HD cameras, and we were there 40 to 45 minutes, and it was still going on the same charge. Okay. So there's somebody that dropped real money on drones.
Well, so I find one for $70. Order it, get it the next day.
Yeah.
Footprint is huge.
Yeah.
Like it's at least it's probably a good 11 to 12 inch square.
Yeah.
Because these are just typical drones where it's a square and each corner has a propeller. So this one is like twice the size of the first one. So that's pretty cool. It's got propeller bumpers. So like if it knocks into something, the propellers won't hit it.
Right.
The bumper does. Whereas the smaller mini drone, there are no bumpers. So if it hits something, the propeller would just stop. And
Yep.
But they both came with extra propellers, so that's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah. This drone came with the camera. Came with 2 batteries, but the cool thing I liked about it when I researched it on Amazon was it has a button you press when you start it to where you can, so it has the 2 toggles, just like the other drone. It is a lot easier to use, user-friendly. Like the drone that my daughter got for $20 was like, I'd say advanced level user. Whereas this drone was definitely beginner.
Okay.
But there had advanced features on it. But one of the cool features on the new drone is instead of lifting it into the air with the toggle switch, there's a button you press that just takes it up 2 feet and it hovers.
Oh!
So once you get it to that 2 feet, it's just hovering. And this is literally, like, we've taken it out quite a few times now. If there's no wind at all, it'll just hover there at 2 feet.
Okay.
And then you can make it go forward, backward. I can raise it up, down, make it turn easier. She downloaded the app for her phone.
Oh, so she can control it from her phone.
No.
Oh.
The controller is bigger and has a phone mount.
Oh.
So when you mount the phone to the controller, you can see the camera.
Okay.
So you can see what the drone sees when it's 20, 30, 100 feet up in the air.
That's cool.
So we're outside, and I'm using a drone, and I'm not using her camera. She has her phone in her hand. And she's snapping pictures. She's like, take it up higher. The sky's awesome. And she's snapping pictures. And then I brought the drone down to like eye level, like 5 feet in the air, and I have it facing us. And I'm like, can you see it? She's like, yeah. She's taking a picture, so it's a picture of us.
Oh, that's awesome.
So this drone is awesome. But I'm like a dog with a bone, damn it.
And you went
on Wednesday.
Of course.
So this happened on a Saturday with the first drone.
Yep.
On Wednesday, Funny Book Day. Funny Book Day, for people that don't know, is when new comics come out.
Yep.
I drive by the school before I go get comics. And I see cars in the parking lot. And I'm like, screw it.
You stop
Pull into the parking lot.
Yep.
And the cars are there to give out lunches to kids and stuff. This big dude comes walking out wearing a shirt that says security on it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
And I go, I don't even know how to say this without laughing, and you're going to laugh. And he goes, man, I've heard it all. And I go, my daughter, of course I threw her under the bus.
Uh-huh.
I said, my daughter bought a drone.
Yeah.
And we came here Saturday. Long story short, it's on your roof. And he just started laughing, and he goes, yeah. He goes, you know what? This is actually a STEM school. So he goes, that ain't the first time that's happened.
Ah.
He goes, do you know where? And I go, I know exactly where.
Yeah.
So we walk to the side, because one of the parts of the story I left out is when my wife and I went back, she walked back far enough to where the modules are for the outside learning, because the school's so big. She walked up onto the steps that lead to the modules, and she could actually see onto the roof. And from back there, looking onto the roof, you literally saw a black speck on this gray roof, and you knew it was the drone.
Huh.
So I took a picture,
Yeah.
and I showed the guy, and I go, that black speck, I guarantee you that's the drone. He goes, all right, I'll be right back. 10 minutes later, he comes walking down with the drone.
That is awesome. So you got it back.
I've got 2 drones.
Nice.
You want to buy a drone, Dennis?
Yeah, I think I've got room in my backyard. We're good.
Oh, damn it. But you have a nephew that would probably...
No, that's why I'm saying. We'll bring it over. We'll test it out.
I will sell to you for $20. The price you paid.
Yeah. We may be flying a drone here.
Yeah. So that is my drone story. So it went from dad fail, epic fail, to dad rescue.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, congratulations on that.
And I'm practicing more with it. I'm learning more with it. I do take it out. Courtney has no interest in that one anymore.
Yeah.
But the second one, I let her use it once.
Yeah.
And she did pretty good.
Yep.
She got a little out of control, went to the neighbor's backyard. But the other cool thing about this new drone is the button that you press that automatically makes it hover. Yep. If you ever get into a sticky situation, you want to bring it down, you press that button, and it lands right where it's at.
Yeah.
Awesome. So she was getting, it was only about 5 feet in the air.
Okay.
But it went to our neighbor's backyard. I said, just press that button. So she pressed it, and it just came right down.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. So they are fun. My wife's like, you have a new toy. And I'm like, this is Courtney's.
Yep.
But Daddy's going to go play right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's my drone story.
Well, I was on a little vacation out doing some touring of the country, and we had gotten a message talking about Old Guard. And I was like, Old Guard. I'm like, well, this looks really interesting and looks really cool. So I sent Andy a message while I was gone. I said, hey, Old Guard. He goes, all right, looks good. We're going to watch it. So we had a chance. We both watched it. As soon as I got back, that was the first thing that I watched. And we're like, we definitely have to talk about this for this podcast.
It's a made-for-Netflix movie.
Yeah.
It's based on a graphic novel by Greg Rucka called Lazarus.
Yep. I
believe is the name, yep. Which, actually, it's funny. I remember that book coming out. And I like Greg's stuff, and I like the artist on it. John Paul Leon, I think, is the artist. Don't quote me on that. But Lazarus. So I didn't pick it up because, I'm still a pretty tried and true superhero nerd when it comes to comic books.
Right.
But I might go. This is one of those things. This is why I'm like the reverse, and I've read more books, comics that aren't superhero genre because I've seen the adaptation of a movie or TV show.
Right.
To where I'm like, man, I gotta go read that.
Yeah.
And
I'm kind of the same way, and unfortunately, because I do like other things, like when Black Money Murders came out, I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. So I did pick up on that, but I talked to other people who had read it. And this is one that I also didn't pick up and read, so I was kind of like, well, that's interesting, and it's on Netflix. Yeah. So Netflix is hit or miss, so you never know what they're going to do. But when it was Charlize Theron, it was on there, I'm like, oh, it had a decent cast, and when she's in something like that, I mean, I'm picturing a badass like her, like Anne Flux, and I'm going, I just got to see what she's going to be like in this. But I didn't realize what the entire story plot was, so it was worth a watch. Woo! Even my wife says, she goes, I don't want to watch it. I think I'm going to go read it. I says, no problem. I'm going to watch this. Next thing I know, she was sitting down right next to me, and she goes, well, I'll see if it's any good. Yeah, she didn't leave.
So one, Charlize Theron's rocking great dark brown, black hair.
Yeah.
Short crop cut. It's awesome. Two, her character name's Andy, so way to go there. And even on the IMDb page, spelled A-N-D-Y.
It is.
None of that A-N-D-I crap. So the basic gist is it's a covert team. Charlize Theron heads them up, and they're immortal mercenaries. And
but you don't know that. You just know they're mercenaries.
Right. When the movie begins, right, so, we're not going to give tons of spoilers, but I look at it like this. If you can read about it online, it's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
So the basic gist is, the movie opens up, and it's 4 mercenaries, Charlize Theron, 3 other guys, and they're all, in their 30s or something, and, they're tasked to go on this mission.
They call her boss, so you know that she's the head of this team. And, she goes, well, we got a chance to do this job, And he goes, but we've already done that. Yeah, but here's what happened. And they go, but we don't ever do repeats. Oh, so now immediately you start thinking back to things like, Mission Impossible and stuff like that, because you're going, okay, they're going to the Middle East, they're doing all of this stuff. They've done lots of missions, you can tell, and they won't do repeats. So are they guns for hire, mercenaries? Yep, sounds like it. Well, now this is interesting. What is this going to be? Kind of like some of the other movies, that Chris Hemsworth did and stuff like that we reviewed in the past year. So it was like, all right, this is going to be kind of cool. She got lots of guns, and then they start bringing it out.
But when you hear repeats, didn't it clue you in that it could be a setup?
Right.
Because you're like...
This is why she says we don't do repeats.
Right.
Because they know you. And I was like, oh, I got a feeling something's going to go bad on this one. So this is what's going through my mind.
Right. Well, the thing is, you watch the trailer for it. Like I said, that's why I'm not... You know from the trailer that they're immortal. But that's the thing I hate about the trailer. They gave it up. Because when you find it out in the movie... If you didn't know that going in, you just... Because you know it within the first, 15 minutes, I think it is?
Yeah, so you find out really quickly, and they did give it up in the trailer, which is why when you said it...
I get it from the movie making standpoint, going, we need to entice them to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Because if we don't give that up, they're just going to be like, oh, it's just mercs for hire. Oh, it's the same old song. It's like, oh, Charlize Theron's leading them up. Which I would be like, well, I'd watch that. But I guess they were thinking, no, let's let it out there that they're immortals because then that'll really entice them to watch it. But you gave up the coolest thing!
Yep. And it was really cool because Susie didn't know because she didn't see the trailer.
Awesome.
So we're sitting there, and we were sitting there, and because it happens early, and she was debating, well, am I going to watch this or not? And she said, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden, it is a trap. So we were like, aha, it's a trap. And I'm like, wow, the entire team got killed, not one or two. I was suspecting because of the trailer. And I'm like, And then all of a sudden, Susie was sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden she goes, well, wow, that's a really short movie. And I'm like, uh-huh. And all of a sudden, they're laying there, and all the bad guys that shot him, it was a big trap. They're turning around talking, and all of a sudden, you can see Charlize Theron, her iris of her eyeball. All of a sudden, it starts going down.
Right.
You see the bullets starting to pop out of their heads.
Awesome.
It was like Wolverine.
That was the coolest thing. Is not were they just shot in the torso. Each one of the characters had some type of face shot, whether it was the cheek, the forehead, whatever. And yeah, just like Wolverine, you'd see the wound before it started to close up. The slug would pop out of their head.
Yeah.
And then the wound would close up. And you're just like, oh.
It was cool. It was very much like what we would see from Wolverine, and they're popping up and they stand up and they grab their guns and all the other guys were like, what? Reload! Well, by then they've already and she's got this awesome axe and she's like chop, chop, chop. They're like stab, stab, shoot, shoot, shoot. And needless to say, they come back. There's cameras installed there, and all of a sudden you can see the guy who set him up, which was really cool, by the way. Chiweedle, I think his name is. And I recognized him instantly from, you recognized
him from Doctor Strange.
And I recognized him, and I recognized him from Serenity because he was the bad guy that went after Summer Glau. And I was like, I love him as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
So what a great person. And he had a camera there and was watching the whole thing, and it was proof positive that there were immortals that lived among them. And so Susie was like, whoa, this is like a whole big twist. I'm like, right. Because she had no idea what was going on. But it was really well done, I thought. That twist was enough just to make you go, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then what they don't, they touch on it in the trailer. So obviously they don't kill the whole movie in the trailer. They touch on it. The basic gist is a couple things going on. There's a professor, or not a doctor, I should say, doctor, professor, whatever, scientist, that wants them for their blood and their DNA, because he wants to try and replicate it.
For money.
Yeah, if you replicate it, the money he can make is just amazing.
Yeah.
But then they find out there's another person that's an immortal, who's a actress who I've actually seen before, Kiki Lane.
Yeah, she plays Marine.
Yeah, she plays a Marine named Nile, who basically in combat, let's just say she gets killed and doesn't take.
Yeah.
Which shocks her and obviously everybody, especially the way she got killed. And it's just one of those things. I mean, you could call it a mutant power. They never say that. But, she's a Marine. She's in her early 20s. So it didn't even affect her, or she didn't gain this immortal ability and power until her early 20s. But then again, I guess who knows? Because it's not like she was ever killed before. This was the first time.
Right,
so
this was her first time.
Yeah, so you never know. Well, no, I take it back, though, because if she was immortal, even if she got a cut, it would heal faster. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, and they don't touch on it, but I would think that this was the first time.
It harkens back to those of us that are Highlander fans. When you find out but you find out the very first time, and you start finding out the age. So the one guy, which was the newest member at that point, he had joined the team in 1852, 48. Was it something like that?
Yeah, something like 18. Yeah,
right.
18.
So then they were going back to Andromeda. Andy, how far back was she? They never actually go back, but they go back. Biblical.
They go to the Salem witch trials.
Biblical.
Oh, it's biblical.
Yeah.
They mentioned the Crusades.
Right.
Because Courtney watched it with me. Courtney's my movie buddy, my daughter. She watched it and she goes, "Where's the Crusades, Daddy?" And I said, "Oof." I said, "My history blows, but at least 1,000 years ago." So then I Googled it, and it took place from 1035 or so to 14.
Because there was a first, second, third, fourth Crusades. They don't mention in there which crusade, just the
but still,
crusade.
she's 800 years old at least.
Right. And then the doctor, Susie, picked up on that, and she recognized him right away. She goes, "Oh my God, you know who that doctor is?" And I'm looking at him, I'm like, "No. He's from Harry Potter."
No.
And then I was like, "What?" And I'm sitting there looking, and I was like, "It's Dudley." It's Harry Melling, and he plays Dudley. For those of you that are Harry Potter fans, he's the one that plays, what is it, the cousin at the beginning, the bratty little one in the real world, that where the dad locks him, Harry up underneath and stuff. That's the bratty little kid.
I say no to that? Because Dennis, Harry Potter is what I like to call this decade's E.T. for me. But what I mean by that is I've yet to watch E.T. and I've yet to watch a Harry Potter movie.
You've never seen E.T.?
Never seen E.T. Only clips. Never seen Harry Potter.
Well, I'll let you borrow it before you leave because you have to see E.T.
Won't happen.
You have to. Why would you not?
I have no interest in that movie.
What?
Overhyped garbage.
That is the reason why Reese's Pieces, as you know,
That is my favorite candy.
That is why it became my favorite candy, was that movie, and I went and tried it, and I loved it.
Ever since I missed the boat on that when it first came out, my mind's just shut it. Another one I've never seen all the way through? Goonies.
Oh, my wife better not let you hear
Never
that.
seen the Goonies all the way through. So no, Harry Potter, it's now at the point for me of what I call no return, which is I'll never watch them.
Oh my God. No such thing. No.
He hit me in the 90s, and I realized when people were talking about I've never seen that or the Goonies, I was like, I'll never watch them.
Wow.
So,
dude,
it falls. E.T. for me, I feel like my daughter when I say this, when I bring up the first Superman from 78, and she goes, "Ew, that's old." E.T.'s old. I got no use for those special effects. No thanks.
Still a good movie.
Maybe if they remake it.
And it was that. And those kids were playing Dungeons and Dragons, as was I during that time. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
So, anyhow, back to the old guard. So they I just had to throw it in there.
I know.
So they pick up this new Marine who can't be killed, and they basically kidnap her.
Yeah.
From the Marines, because she can't be around with the Marines anymore, because you think that's the last. Like, her cover worked well, the wound wasn't as bad. And I'm not going to spoil how she got killed.
The Marines knew that there was something up with her, and they were going to take her and basically lock her up and test her.
Right.
Yeah.
So Charlize Theron definitely helped out by kidnapping her away. But, she can't see her family anymore. It's bad.
Yeah. But there's some really good twists that they explain some of the history of other characters that another immortal that was immortal and lost their immortality and wound up dying.
The guy.
The guy. Yeah. And then they've got a missing person, which was a friend. One of another old one that she was back in the original time with.
She was. We won't spoil too much of it. She was basically Charlize Theron's character's best friend.
Right.
And they
from
were
like the Crusades
or the Crusades or earlier, and it was during the Salem witch trials that they were both basically strung up as witches.
They got captured
when hanging didn't work. They tried they tried burning him at the stake. That didn't work.
Yeah, it's cool.
There's a scene where they're talking, and basically they're both locked up in like a cellar, and one of them says, I've never been burned at the stake before.
Right.
Because the thing is, they're immortal, but they can feel pain.
Right.
So if something happens to them, they feel it.
Right.
And then, long story short, the one woman, not Charlize Theron, but her bestie, her BFF from the Salem witch trial days, gets taken away, and they figure a different way to try to kill her.
Yeah.
We won't spoil that.
They stick Quinn, well, we'll just say that they put her at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
So, and that Charlene was supposed to go, her character, Andy, was supposed to go find her and figure out where she is and rescue her because she's trapped for all eternity.
But unless I missed it, they didn't touch on how Charlize escaped from the Salem witch trial.
They did not.
Yeah. And even though, her bestie there, they basically, I don't remember the name of the torture device, but they basically locked her in this.
It's like an Iron Maiden almost.
Yeah, it's like an Iron Maiden, but the Iron Maiden has the spikes on it.
Right. We don't know if this does because they don't show it, but they lock her up in it.
Because when they put her in it, she didn't, because they can feel pain, she didn't scream. She screamed, but it wasn't the type of scream of pain. It was the scream of, oh crap,
yeah,
I can't get out of this.
And you see her at the bottom, and all these air bubbles, which is what I didn't understand, is how the air bubbles kept coming up every time she screamed.
How?
Because does she create air within her lungs?
No, she dies. She drowns.
Right.
Heals.
Right.
Drowns again.
Right, but there's still no air, so where would the air bubbles come?
Okay. So I think when she heals, the body literally heals back to new, which means the lungs aren't filled anymore with water.
Interesting.
So because they're not filled with water,
have air.
There's basically enough air to fill her lungs.
Yeah.
So then she gasps, air bubbles come out.
She drowns
again, and then she gasps.
It's interesting. Let's just put it
it's cool. So, think of that life.
Yeah.
Since the Salem witch trials, which was 1800s.
Well, yeah, she's been down there 17? At least for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, a couple hundred years. She's been at the bottom of this ocean off of, that was Massachusetts, right?
We're assuming, yes.
Wait, weren't they, the Salem witch trials, they took place up in Boston, right?
Right.
Well, so yeah, we're assuming that they basically went off the coast a few miles and dumped her. I can't see them going.
Right. Well, what I'm saying, they make a lot of assumptions as to, we're making assumptions based because they didn't say Salem witch trials, this and this.
I thought they did.
I didn't see that. Because the Salem witch trials were in the late 1600s.
Oh, 1600s.
Right. So
I think it was a Salem witch trial.
I'm assuming it was, so I'm not arguing that point. I just don't remember them coming up unless I got distracted where it went up Salem and this time frame or anything. So we're assuming that's what it was because it's like Monty Python. It's a witch, burner.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyhow, it's not like they go off the coast of Boston and dump her somewhere. It's not like Charlize is going to be like, time to search this huge area of ocean.
Right.
That's impossible. So, so she's trapped down there. And let's just say that at the end of the movie, they pulled a Marvel thing where they had a post-credit, mid-credit scene, and God darn it, there better be a sequel. That's all I got to say.
There had better be a sequel to this because it was extremely well done. And everybody I've talked to is like, oh, have you seen this? Did you see the ending? Why are they doing a sequel? Yep, everybody wants to know. So good job, Netflix. You pulled off a solid one.
They did another one. But you know what? IMDb, the ranking at 40,000 people is only giving it 6.7.
Yeah, I thought so. Let's give us our comic book rating.
Would this have a Rotten Tomato review? Because no, there's no, it's not theatrical. Damn.
Nope.
Yeah, IMDb. You suck.
I would say if comic book review, I would give this at least an 8.5 because it kept my interest through the whole thing. It was pretty well done. It was theatrical looking. The acting was believable. There were a few things I would have changed, but I definitely want to see a sequel and see him up the game a little bit.
That's funny. I was going to go between 7.8 and 8. So we're right in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Because it did. It kept me captivated throughout. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes, I believe. So it's not super long. It doesn't feel like it. That's for sure. The action was great. The choreography was great. I thought the story was really good.
Yeah.
I like the fact that the 3 other actors that were immortal, the men, weren't big names. Like, I didn't recognize any of them. And I think part of that's because of, some had facial hair, some didn't. And I think that if you were like, oh no, that guy was in that movie, and obviously I didn't do a deep dive on all these actors, I'd probably go, oh yeah, I remember now.
But they're not big names, and I think they're keeping the budget sharp.
Well, I think that's good because I like movies that don't have big name actors because it gets me more into the believability of the movie.
Yes. And I would say all the actors played their role very well. I didn't think there was really any shortcomings, on the actors or actresses. I liked them all.
Yeah, and I really was captivated by the actress that played Niles, the Marine.
Yeah.
She was fantastic.
Yeah, I really liked her as the new Immortal and how they brought her characterization into play. I mean, that's just it. These are none of us know any of these characters. So in a good movie, you've got to be able to explain their backgrounds and bring out their stuff, and I thought they did a good job with them.
I guess the only, if I were to point out a negative, and this is really nitpicky, there's obviously the confrontation, Charlize Theron, like you said, basically kidnaps the Marine to bring into her group, and they're on an airplane, and, it's a cargo-type plane, and, the girl wakes up, the Marine Niles wakes up, and her and Charlene get into a fist fight. Typical, they've got to fight it out.
Which is what I stood up and I was like, regular comic book fight. And she goes, what? I says, when there's not a bad guy, you still have to have people on the same team fight. So you got to have a fight, which is what this was.
And I guess if I was going to be nitpicky, is the fact that, and look, I've never served in armed forces, but do Marines fight that badass? Because she looked like she had more training than just what you're taught.
Well, she's been in there, so the beginning of it shows her that she's actually currently serving,
right?
And she got killed from it, and that
her hand-to-hand combat's what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I think she's had enough where I thought it was believable for her to be that badass, and she gets her.
Well, and I think, that's the thing. The thing I liked about the fight, though, was you could tell Charlize Theron's character was kind of holding back and could easily wipe the floor with her. Because, like you said, Charlize Theron's character had been around since at least the Crusades.
And literally fighting for centuries.
And you literally see her the weapons she's mastered.
Right, and the
fighting technique she's mastered. So she could wipe the floor at
any time.
Anytime. And she took it easy on it. She did, though, so this is a little bit of a spoiler, but I loved it. She really kind of wanted to end the fight. Like, Charlene got to the point in the fight where she was like, all right, this shit needs to end.
Yep.
And she broke her arm.
Oh, yeah.
Compound fracture where the bone comes through.
Is awesome.
Her forearm. and then Charlene was like, all right, I've had enough of this crap. Breaks her arm. So the bone comes through her arm, breaks her lower leg, both the bones, so her lower leg is all skewed, and that pretty much ends the fight. And then you see, Charlize is like, look, you're healing already.
Yeah.
And they show the cool special effect of the bone healing and the leg straightening out and stuff. So
because it's quicker to heal. The more times
The
you're
more it
injured,
happens.
the quicker you heal, which is really cool. And they did, and she kind of realized, wow, this lady could kick my butt at any point in time because she thought she was badass, which she is.
What happens if you get your head cut off?
I don't know. Is it
There's
like
no way
Highlander?
it's a
'Cause
lizard. You're not regrowing a head.
Yep.
So if it's close enough, like let's say you are immortal, Dennis.
Yep.
You were one of these characters, and I cut your head off, right?
Yep.
If I have your head all the way across the room and your body on the other side, do they make their way to each other? Or if
Does
I
it
pick your
grow
head
a new
up,
one?
is it like a magnet where if I put it really up close to your neck, the stuff just starts...
So am I Wolverine or Deadpool?
You can't cut Wolverine's head off. Adamantium skeleton.
But you can Deadpool.
Deadpool, you can. Well, Deadpool
Right,
got
and
more than that.
he's
But
done
he
it.
regenerated everything down.
Right.
They didn't mash his... See, that's the thing they didn't touch on Deadpool, if you want to go on a tangent. His lower half grew back, so he had a little baby.
Right, there should be two Deadpools.
Why isn't there a second Deadpool where his upper body grew back?
Right, exactly. But on Highlander, when you cut off the head, that's the end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're immortal unless you cut off their head.
Right.
They didn't touch on this in this movie, which means makes me want to go back and read the graphic novel and actually read this now.
Because that's the thing I always thought about Wolverine, because, like I said, my daughter's getting in the comics. She's like, well, could Wolverine drown? And my answer was always, yeah.
Yeah.
But now, if they treat him like the character in Old Guard, his lungs would just regenerate after he drowns. He gag, drown.
So I never thought they could drown and stay dead. You'd have to keep him permanently under, like
that's what I'm saying
here. But I would be like, for Wolverine, you have to throw him in a vat of acid and keep it in there. That would be the only thing
because he wouldn't be able to regenerate.
Right. So anyway, just some thoughts. But worth a watch.
Oh, definitely worth a watch. Give it a look. It is it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Yep.
So,
all right.
There you have it.
I think that'll be it for this week. I did a little reading, and we've got another movie that from the past that we both missed that we're going to probably touch on next episode.
Yeah, we both discovered a movie on Netflix. We'll tease it, called The Heist from 2015. I believe it was a theatrical release that I missed.
Yep, same here.
So we'll discuss The Heist, and we'll discuss a graphic novel DC put out about the Justice League called Pain of the Gods, written by Chuck Austin and artwork by my buddy Ron Garney. It came out in the early 2000s, and in this time of staying at home, I perused my bookshelf and reread things. I read it. I fell in love with it again, so I suggested, Dennis, you need to read this.
So I did. I grabbed it when I left for my trip and took it with me and read it. And it was a great read, and we'll talk about it next time.
Until then, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Until next week, grab your 3D glasses.
Get your favorite comic books, roll them up, and put them in your back pocket the way you should treat comics.
Throw your pigskin up on the mantle. This is Dennis.
This is Andy. Later, friends.